The following program features a man watching The View while trying to keep his brain from stabbing itself to be put out of its own misery. The host is a trained professional with years of experience in safely engaging with illogic that is dangerously mind-numbing. Do not try this at home alone. Please respect the flat screen TV rule. That is, friends don't let friends hold loaded weapons while watching The View. So stick around and punch that like button like it's a wall in Meghan McCain's house, because we are just moments away from starting the following program. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I'm your host, Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Lawgic. I got a busy show for you guys tonight. Got a lot to cover. First and foremost, we have an archbishop who's really mad at Kamala Harris. We have feds who are breaking in and creating, basically, I don't know, they must have some sort of probable cause to go in to a New York City police commissioner's house and seizing stuff. So we're going to look at that and try to figure out what the heck that's talking about. We have Taylor Swift, who obviously is several months ahead of her would-be supporters because she recognized pretty quickly that she regrets supporting Kamala Harris. So we'll break that down for you as well. And finally, I want to break down for you tonight Haitian representatives. The Haitians are coming after Trump, trying to get criminal charges brought against President Trump for inciting all sorts of mayhem and chaos going on in Springfield, Ohio. And obviously, this is a very, very big crime that the local courts should take care of and go out there and arrest Donald Trump ASAP. So we're going to talk about the viability of their claims, break down what their claims are, whether or not it could be viable, is viable, what's likely to happen with it. And that's our outline for tonight. That's our outline. We also have Master Phillips hitting me before I even get started here with 5. That's right. Count them 5. You can count them. Wait, did I count them? I don't know if I counted them yet. Okay. Whoops. Hit him with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Good Lawgic memberships right out of the gate. King of recruitment coming in hot and saying, hey, we need to bring some people back on in here. Need to get some folks on in here. Who do you bring on in? Who'd you bring on in? James, gifted courtesy of Master Phillips, Robin Watkins, Kool-Aid, Dirk from Texas, and the Unburdened number 6, one of the original members, gifted memberships courtesy of Master Phillips. God bless you, Master Phillips. The Unburdened, as well as I think one or two others here, may be aware of the fact, likely very well aware of the fact that yours truly is not the host of not the leader of the following. I'm just a host. And the following is not at all a cult type of cult. Really at all. I want to give you all a heads up. I want to give you a heads up while we're here, you members. I want to give you all a heads up that this Sunday evening, I plan on hosting a thank you stream for the support that I've gotten from each and every one of you, as well as other YouTube content creators who I plan on bringing on in here. And thank you for helping me reach to 100,000 subs, at which time I plan on probably auctioning off one or two of these coins here. So that is going to be Sunday evening. I plan on hosting that stream, and it's really a thank you stream. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. So that I hope you all will be able to join, participate. I'm going to have different clips from early day memories with some of the people who come in here. Some people who come on back here as my way of saying thank you for helping bring some of your exposure my way over here. And while you're here, if you can hit like and subscribe, that would only make life a little bit easier so we can help ensure that I'm still at 100,000 when I get there. But it's 100,000. Thank you. So I'm just wanted to give you a heads up on that. I'm going to be covering that. Also wanted to call attention to Mr. K. Velt. Came in for the interesting insight, stayed for the rants. Just please no more science streams. I definitely plan on Sunday reviewing a little bit from some of the science streams that I had with Uncivil Law and Nick Ricada, where they were arguing with me, where they foolishly tried defending Albert Einstein as being a man of insight and vision and wisdom. But let's get into our first story up tonight, and that is Archbishop being pretty ticked off with Kamala Harris. Pretty upset with Kamala Harris. Let's check this one out here. Never watch Fox. Oh, you're going to do this to me? Is this how?
Cardinal Timothy Dolan says he is not happy about Vice President Harris's decision to skip the traditional Al Smith dinner that benefits Catholic charities.
We're disappointed. We were looking forward to giving the Vice President an enthusiastic welcome. This hasn't happened in 40 years since Walter Mondale turned down the invitation. And remember, he lost 49 out of 50 states. Now, I don't want to say there's a direct connection there, but so we're not used to this, and we're not giving up.
He's not giving up, he says. Cardinal Dolan says the Archdiocese is actually going to reach out to Senator Schumer and Governor Hochul and hopes they can get Harris to change her mind. That's interesting.
Wow, 40 years. First snub by a presidential candidate of the Al Smith dinner in 40 years. You may recall that Donald Trump himself, purportedly, legend has it, that he was inspired at an Al Smith dinner when he was mocked by Barack Obama for never becoming president, and purportedly that's what inspired him to say, you know what, F you, I'm running. F you, I'm doing it. Apparently. So if you think the Al Smith dinner is no big deal, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. All the big wigs come on out, and usually there's the gloves, they take the glass out of the gloves. Normally when they're fighting, they got like the brass knuckles under the gloves and they're trying to bloody each other. The gloves will still brush and punch, but there's a lot more of actual humor usually, which is dropped off at that Al Smith benefit. But Kamala Harris is too busy. She's too frantic. Apparently, maybe she's afraid that she's going to lose 49 states, and she's hoping that she needs to spend every minute she can out there. I think she's a lot closer to losing 49 states than she is to winning this election. I think she's really drowning. That's my personal opinion on it. I think the woman's going down in ways that Kamala Harris is accustomed to going down, and new and interesting ways that she may never have gone down before. I don't know. Obviously, I'm referring to going down in election loss when I'm saying that. Clearly, this is a family show. So, yeah. The next thing I wanted to cover with you. So he's not happy about it. He's being very polite about it, but obviously he's not happy about it. But that's not all that's going on in the great city of New York. No. We have this really weird situation that nobody can understand exactly what's happening. No one really can understand exactly why the feds are raiding the interim New York Police Department commissioner and raiding his house, looking for quote unquote old documents days after he took the job. And they're saying it suggests it's open season on Eric Adams, as if there's some sort of beef between the FBI and Eric Adams. And New York Post reporting here that a raid on the home. Look at this. Let's see what we got. Let's see the video here. It's only a 36-second video. We can.
Excuse me, Mr. Donlan. Excuse me. Do you know why the FBI came to your house on Friday? Could you tell us who your lawyer is, Mr. Donlan?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Excuse me, Mr. Donlan. Excuse me. Do you know why the FBI came to your house on Friday?
No.
Could you tell us who your lawyer is, Mr. Donlan?
That's not much of it. I don't know why it goes back 20 seconds in, but all right, that's the post. A raid on the home of Big Apple's interim police commissioner has raised eyebrows, coming just days after he took the job as investigators swirl around Adams' administration officials, the Post has learned. Interim Commissioner Thomas Donlan said in a Saturday night statement that federal authorities had taken from him, quote, materials that came into my possession 20 years ago, unrelated to my work with the New York City Police Department, 1 week after his predecessor stepped down over a seemingly unrelated raid. Another unrelated raid. I honestly have no idea what this story is about. I have no idea. Do you, any of you, speculation? Any of you a speculation? I appreciate this kind of speculation from Keelan Byrne. All hell, totally not a cult leader. Good logic, which I'm totally not. Totally not. But yeah, any of you have any thoughts? Nobody knows what's going on. The feds are zeroing in around whoever's running the police department for Eric Adams. That's very strange. Sources told the Post agents have been searching for classified documents Donlan may have brought home during his years with the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security, but that explanation has left a lot of law enforcement officers just sort of, what? Why would that happen now? The timing on it seems pretty weird, just days after he's named the interim police commissioner. And they're what? How? Why? Now? Weird? I don't know. That's not the weirdest explanation that I saw. We'll come across one weirder. The same federal agencies that recommended Donlan to Adams also executed the warrant less than a week after Donlan's appointment to search his house for 20-year-old documents, one source said, adding to the Sun District of New York had Damian Williams actually backed Mayor Adams' Commish choice before he announced it. Quote, I can hear the agents laughing while they're torturing the mayor, the source continued. It's open season on Adams at the SDNY and FBI. I don't even know what this means. Why is there beef between the SDNY and FBI? I don't know what's happening. And Mayor Adams. Mayor Adams' office, in case you're not familiar with downtown Manhattan, is literally half a block away from the courthouse. I mean, they're right next to each other. The same source said Donlan, quote, clearly pissed off the wrong people at the FBI, which led the investigators to throw another grenade in Adams' lap and pull the pin. Donlan was collateral damage, the source said. Adams tapped Donlan, an NYPD outsider, to take over as the city's interim commissioner on September 12th. Same day, former Commissioner Edward Caban abruptly resigned because of a federal investigation that is focused on him, his brother, and several other close allies and top lieutenants of the embattled mayor. Federal agents had seized Caban's electronic devices as part of what sources say is a sweeping corruption probe into potential influence peddling and inquiry that has also ensnared Deputy Mayor for Public Safety Phil Banks, Schools Chancellor David Banks, no relation. I honestly never heard of either of them before, so I don't know. They might actually be no relation. But when you're talking about influence peddling and corruption, and you got two different officials, one of them named Phil Banks and the other one named David Banks, oh, I guess, and their brother, Terrence Banks, as well as former NYPD official Tim Pearson and First Deputy Mayor Sheena Wright. None have been accused of crime. Still not clear if investigations are connected to one another. Donlan, who had been running a private security company following his retirement from federal service, was yanked back into public eye by his appointment as New York's top cop. On Sunday, Donlan ignored the Post as he walked out of his Upper East Side apartments and refused to answer questions about the raid or what the name of his lawyer is. Some sources say the raid's place was the Fed's way of telling Adam that nobody in his orbit is safe, but others claim it's just a result of a vetting process for renewed clearances. Criminality had nothing to do. Oh my God. Oh my God. Not everyone believe that, though. You want to know why they don't believe that? Because maybe they've read the Fourth Amendment. I don't know. Anyone who read the Fourth Amendment would be like, well, that doesn't make sense. That can't be part of the job. The job application process is that all of a sudden they have probable cause to search your home. I mean, that doesn't seem like a thing. That doesn't seem like that's just not in America. I don't know. In order to look, I'm not a criminal defense attorney, so don't take this as legal advice. I'm simply saying I'm an American and I've read the Fourth Amendment, and I understand that you can't have a search and seizure by anyone, whether it's a state agency or the feds conducting a raid on your home as part of a job drill. You know, you kind of need probable cause that there's a crime and that evidence of that crime is inside that abode that you want to go into there. So all of this leads me to believe that whoever's trying to say this is just a vetting process. Oh my God. When I saw this line, I started laughing. I can't tell. I started laughing. Yes. Oh, totally. Totally makes sense. Perfectly logical explanation that a judge signed off on a search and seizure warrant for this guy's private home as part of a vetting process. Let's see how he responds under the pressure of having his door barricaded down and a dozen agents just start rifling through his papers. Yeah, this is totally a vetting process. This is exactly, look, if you want to be the top cop, everyone knows that that's part of the whole application process. Good Lord. You wonder what the mayor has to go through in this. There's be all sorts of anal probes or something going on there. How on earth could anyone think that this is a logical explanation? It's part of a vetting process for renewed clearances. That's not a raid. No. See, he would have to be consenting to that. He would be consenting. You'd be like, okay, look, you want to come in and search around? That's fine. Nothing gets spot checked by 24 FBI agents who are going to come barreling into my door while I'm in my under things. I'm all of a sudden here, like on my front door, like, open up. It's the feds. That's part of his vetting process. I think that's hilarious. I think that's such a funny, like what a terrible cope. This is the worst cope ever. It's a vetting process. Oh, we know you're in there, Donlin. It's a vetting process. We need to know if he's good for clearances. Maybe they put that on the search warrant application, in the search warrant affidavit. Dear Judge Blank, he's applying to be a new commissioner of New York City Police Force, and we need to break into his home and start going through his papers, which he'll be able to tell people it's 20-year-old papers, has nothing to do with any crimes that have happened recently. Oh my God. So bad. This is the dumbest explanation I've ever heard. They don't search your house when they do security clearance, said Joseph Pistone, legendary FBI agent known as Donnie Brasco, who infiltrated the mafia in the 70s. You think, Joey Pistone? You think they don't? Yeah. They don't search your house for security clearance. Oh my God, it's the most ridiculous explanation in the world. It's the most ridiculous explanation in the world. Oh my God. Wow. This is like someone who robs a bank and then he opens up the thing and he gets like the glitter bomb going up all over him and the cops knocking on his door and his explanation. No, my daughter, I'm making a party for my 4-year-old daughter here and the glitter spilled everywhere. This is the stupidest explanation ever. This is such a bad explanation. This is one of the worst explanations ever. Oh my God. That's exactly right, JK. It's on the application, don't you know? Oh my God. This is so terrible. Such a terrible, terrible, terrible explanation. I think it's hilarious. If I were doing a background and investigation on Tom, I'd say straightforward loves his country, said Pistone, who's also known Donald since 1974, not at all related to his mafia ties. No. Oh my gosh. I don't know if the guy who's the inspiration for Danny Brasco, saying how he knows you for a long time, if that's when you're under investigation from the feds for possible corruption. I don't know if that's like necessarily something Donlin wants him to actually say out loud. I'm not trying to impugn Mr. Pistone at all. I'm not trying to impugn him. I'm simply saying this is like basically going into it's kind of like sending Zelensky into an American First conference and telling them, hey, you guys gotta support Kamala because she's gonna be helping out. She's gonna make sure that we don't lose to Russia. like what? No, that's not helping. Please don't tell people you know me, Pistone. Please don't tell people that. That's not good for me right now. Quote, I'm flabbergasted. He's been out of the Bureau for 15 years. Look at all the positions he had. He continued. I don't have enough good things to say about the guy. And look, I don't know anything about Donlin. The guy might be straight as an arrow and the greatest cop who ever walked. Could be. Now he gets appointed police commissioner, and a week later he gets his house searched. He said, I had no idea why they would search his house. It's nuts. Mark Carroll, former assistant U.S. attorney, retired FBI agent, echoed Pistone's words when he called an upstanding member of the law enforcement community and his principal a person as they come. And he didn't totally pay me thousands of dollars to say that for him. That makes no sense, Carroll said the raid. I had the highest level of clearance. I have no good way to explain it. It would absolutely shock me if he did anything wrong. And look, I'm not trying to impugn him and say he did do anything wrong. I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I definitely have. I didn't even know the guy's name a week ago. So I have no reason to suspect that he did anything wrong. I'm simply saying, don't tell me that's part of a vetting process. Don't try to tell anyone who has a brain that's got part of a vetting. That's not part of any vetting process. That's just not the way things work in America. I don't know. You got to go to some third world EU country or something like that. Someplace which doesn't really believe in having basic freedoms. Like Russia, UK. Something like that. There's no actual freedoms, but here in America, that wouldn't happen. Here in America, that would not happen at all. What do we got here? I know Joe's gonna be proud of me, and this will deem my off-color comments last night. What am I gonna be proud of? What off-color? What happened? Proud of you for what? What happened? I don't even know what happened. Roger Stone had Lieutenant John Dean Okari on his show, a bit of insight into what's happening. Oh, did he? Roger Stone. See, I actually want to know what's happening here because I don't know. Let me see if I can find that. I would try and find out about this story because this is the weirdest story in the world. So that was yesterday. It's 3 hours. It's a show we did for 3 hours. I'm not seeing any answer here. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything. I see a stream. It looks like it's a 3-hour stream. Hold on a second. Let me see.
Hey, New York City. Don't miss your favorite E Street drummer, Max Weinberg, bringing his live show to Huntington, Long Island.
Down this wall.
George W.
Professional.
77 WABC.
The most influential, powerful, and
30
dynamic
minutes.
AM radio station in the United States of America. Every
30 minutes.
Sunday from 5 to 6, we're here to talk politics, news, history. We'll be happy to take your calls in a segment we call the Stone Zone on the Phone. Is a couple of important developments. The owner of Red Apple and WABC AM, John Katsimatidis, is spearheading a very important campaign to say.
All right, I could end up spending 28 minutes like trying to find this here. So this isn't working. Apparently, that is Lieutenant John McCarry. Let me see if this is even on topic.
New York City police officer serving with distinction, but he is also the host of New York's finest retired and unfiltered podcast, a show that explores everyday life, law enforcement issues, and politics in New York City and the NYPD. You can see him and his show on YouTube, Rumble, X, Spotify, and everyone else. John McCarry, welcome to the Roger Stone Show.
Hey, Raj, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. And I appreciate your voice, and I appreciate 770 for having you on. I mean, it's a great show. It's one of my favorite shows on AM radio.
Well, you are very kind. There seems to be a series of events here. It's all happened very quickly for, I think, the public, although some are shifted. Some of the most dangerous precincts in the city won many awards for his exemplary duties and functions as a law enforcement officer, began complaining early. Not only had he been victimized by the Adams administration for his friendship with me, which they claimed violated a New York City regulation by the NYPD, a regulation that the mayor and his cronies seem to violate themselves every single day. So I guess let's go big picture to start. What do you think the status of the current corruption probe into the New York City Police Department under Mayor Adams, where New York City Police Commissioner Ed Caban, according to the New York Post, resigned last week, I guess it was, after a series of federal aids. Another story that says that they are probing the police commissioner's twin brother over allegations that he may have been selling protection to restaurants and night spots when it came to the New York City regulation of those spots. Now, just recently, there's a new story regarding federal subpoenas to a Brooklyn church over possible dealings with key Mayor Adams advisor Frank Carone. And then one I know a little bit about, federal investigators now subpoenaing Mayor Adams' asylum-seeking operations director for information regarding Tim Pearson, an aide to Mayor Adams, an aide who, by the way, wrote a letter, a character reference in the case of Charles McGonigal. He was the FBI agent who was running the Russian collusion investigation. It turns out he was taking payments from Russia at the same time, for which he was convicted and is now in prison. What's going on in this investigation, John?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, the Adams administration is surrounded by smoke. You know, and Eric Adams himself always likes to say, where there's smoke, there isn't always fire. And I'll agree with that. I'll agree with the statement that where there's smoke, there isn't always fire. But there are plumes of smoke from nearly every Eric Adams appointment there's been, whether it relates to the police department, where we had Police Commissioner Ed Caban, who fired your friend Sal Greco, my mutual friend Sal Greco, for criminal association, when early on Sal Greco and others were out there saying, hey, look, they're hanging out with nefarious underworld characters. They're hanging out.
If you're wondering what we're doing right now, I was recommended to me that this Lieutenant John D. McCarry was on the Roger Stone show yesterday, and he was helping to explain the FBI probe that's going on into Eric Adams. So, because I'm genuinely curious about what the actual story is here, we're listening to this interview here, and there's like another 20 minutes. I'm listening at 1.25 speed, and I'm just trying to see, what the heck is happening here, because I'm very, very confused, and there's not much explanation in the news about it.
in places they shouldn't be. The NYPD is giving the appearance of impropriety, and they're violating their own policy, and they're violating the policy that they fired Sal Greco for. Then it comes out there's a basically an allegation of a protection racket scandal, like a influence peddling scandal, where the police commissioner's twin brother, who was getting a taxpayer-funded NYPD police vehicle and security team, was driving around and basically selling his own security guards with the premise that if you hire me and you hire my consulting firms and you put my security guards in your place of business, you won't ever have a problem with the NYPD. And that's a classic protection extortion racket that we've seen in throughout the ages.
That sounds pretty classic extortion.
And that's what's being alleged from the New York City Police Department. So Police Commissioner Ed Caban steps down. At that point, Marcia Kramer reports on ABC. She reports that an ask from federal prosecutors was to appoint somebody from the outside. This did not get taken well by all reports that I have from sources, by the upper echelon of the NYPD, especially those who were in place to possibly become the next police commissioner. They were very angry about this, and Tom Donlin was appointed. Again, it was an ask to go outside by the federal prosecutors. And so Tom Donlin's appointed by Eric Adams, and now last night we hear his house was raided. And apparently it's about documents that he held on to for 20 years with his time in service when he was working as a federal agent. And, a lot of people are saying, it's a political target on Eric Adams' back. This appears to be political. They're going after everyone around Eric Adams. I'm looking at that completely different. I'm saying this appears to be someone who the police commissioner worked with at a time that had information on him, that was not happy with his appointment to police commissioner, that knew he had some documents. Obviously, it had to have some legs for the feds to go to his residences, not just one residence, but numerous residences, and basically raid his homes, another seated police commissioner. And like I said, the Eric Adams administration, he's in line at this point to beat Jimmy Walker, who actually stepped down, the night mayor, or the nightclub mayor, as he liked to call himself. As it sits right now, Jimmy Walker and Eric Adams are tied for the only two mayors in one term to go through three police commissioners. So, everything that we're seeing and hearing around the Adams administration and his appointments, the NYPD appeared to have been getting some type of direction when Tom Donlin stepped in. But again, we have a lot of people in place that remain, that were working and have accusations, the same accusations that the police commissioner stepped down for, the former police commissioner, Ed Caban, stepped down for. So, it's drawing a negative light on the NYPD. And at the same time, we have Timothy Pearson, another appointee of Eric Adams, the two Banks brothers. One is Philip Banks, who's the deputy mayor of public safety, who's an unindicted co-conspirator, who was, when he was appointed, people were flabbergasted. Like, how are you appointing this guy to the deputy commissioner of public safety, deputy mayor of public safety? He appoints him, as well as he appoints his brother to school chancellor. And what the allegations that are coming out there now, investigations are around selling contracts. And these are serious allegations. These are very serious allegations. This goes beyond the law.
They are very serious. You're basically talking about, this is just varying levels of corruption, which are gross and disgusting.
Fair. There, like I said, he likes to sit there and say, where there's smoke, there's not always fire, but there are plumes of smoke around this man. This administration right now is really destroying New York City. And I call it, it's just another day. Every day we're waking up to something new. And every day it's as New York City burns. That's how I'm seeing this. If I wrote this in a book, they would probably file this in the fiction section at this point. It's honestly, New York City appears to be rudderless, as well as the NYPD at this point under Eric Adams.
We stress, as we always do, that in America, people are innocent until proven guilty. Some have been charged, others have not yet been charged. So
there you go. There's a bit of an explanation for us. At least I can understand now a little bit more about what's happening here. A little bit. I think I don't want to spend the next 15 minutes listening to the rest of this, but I think that at least now we understand that this is not part of a normal vetting process. Now, it could be that, like he's saying, this is someone who's got some old beef with Donlin and wants to try it and figures that this is an opportunity to try. And, since he's now butting up to Eric Adams and he's coming into his sphere, it's a good time to try and harpoon him, trying to go after that well. I'm not saying that I'm not trying to imply anything negative about Donlin, but that would explain the timing. That would explain the timing. It seems like it's unrelated to his appointment as police commissioner, and that the claim from Donlin that this is unrelated to his police work would seem to be that based on what Lieutenant John D. Macari was saying, that's probably true. That's probably true. It makes sense for that to be true only in the sense that you don't tell a lie that's going to be exposed 10 minutes later, and the nature as to what charges are being brought against him are going to come to light much sooner rather than later, if there's any charges that are to be filed. So in that sense, it probably is unrelated to his work with the NYPD as commissioner. Also, like how quickly could they find something and then actually get a search warrant, if it's something that just popped up. So yeah, they would have to have a mole if about someone who's sitting in the room with Eric Adams, who's like, okay, so here's the corruption scheme that we're going to be doing the day when you move into your office tomorrow. Like how would that happen? So the idea that this is unrelated to his role as commissioner, as far as the nature of crimes being charged, but that it is related to his role of commissioner in that it's because he ascended to this high level and into this circle of Eric Adams. That's why the spotlight is on him now that the FBI is coming after him for this stuff. That does make sense to me. That's a lot better explanation than this is a vetting process. It's a lot better explanation. So I certainly plan on keeping you further apprised on this story as it develops, because it looks like we're talking about some pretty serious corruption in my old stomping grounds, New York City. My former stomping grounds. I don't consider that my stomping grounds no more. I just go there to visit. I mean, I guess technically when I visit, I do tend to stomp. I'm a stomper. It's true. Adam Rice says, I was watching Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. He was watching Geeks and Nerds for Kamala stream. Is there a way to sue him for the ocular aids I got? I guess if you're with the Haitians, if you're arguing with the same logic that the Haitians argue that we're about to see their very convoluted logic, perhaps you would have a similarly strong cause of action, but you gotta be creative. You gotta be creative. I don't know. Anyhow, moving along, because that's what we do here. We move along. Before I get into the Haitians, I do want to talk with you all a bit of singing pop sensation Taylor Swift, who is apparently, she was famously going to be endorsing. Everyone knew she's going to be making her endorsement of Kamala Harris. She's a very strong left-leaning, is the kindest way I can phrase it, TDS sufferer who, absolutely despises anything on the Republican side of the aisle. I saw a video of her breaking down crying about some Republican senator where, terrified that some kid might be born or something like that. She has a real problem with children being born to mothers who don't want them. So she was crying and crying and crying like a little girl, and everyone knew she was going to be coming out in support of Kamala Harris. That apparently this is a grand event I saw a whole breakdown that PBD made as to the impact of Kamala Harris, breaking down how many millions of fans she has and the number of those fans broken down by age demographics and across different states to try and figure out what level of impact she's likely to have on the electorate. And if you took those fans and spread them out, because, you know, her global fan base, I don't even know. She might have 1 billion fans globally. I have no idea. She's obviously one of the most popular singing sensations of the century. She's, paparazzi can't get enough of her. You can't even watch a stupid Chiefs game without seeing her face thrown up in there. Frankly, far more often than her boyfriend's face, Travis Kelce, because he seems to have fallen off a cliff. Surprise, surprise. Like, that doesn't happen to every NFL star who gets some big pop singer girlfriend. They seem to invariably turned to instant trash and never recover. Never recover. Jessica Simpson. What she did to Tony Romo, unforgivable. But anyhow, I digress. Not here to talk about Travis Kelce and how he basically got like all sorts of fluids injected into him as soon as he came across Taylor Swift. She came out after the debate to bolster the reactions to the debate. She came out announcing her enthusiastic support for Kamala Harris. So excited to come out there and say, yay, Kamala, yay. And while the PBD, while Patrick Bet-David made a whole thing breaking down how it's really, really hard to understand, if you break down the numbers, what kind of influence it's going to have on people who are actually old enough to vote rather than being, 14-year-old girls, and what states they're actually situated in, and whether it's going to have, any kind of influence at all, even if they actually said, because Taylor Swift said to vote for her, now I'm going to vote for her. I wasn't going to vote before. I was really leaning Donald Trump. But now that Taylor Swift told me to vote for Kamala, what am I going to do? I'm a Swiftie. I have to go out and vote for it doesn't make, I don't understand that mindset, but I understand that if you had that mindset, you probably wouldn't be watching me right now, because I don't think folks who think that way tend to watch me. I don't have a very strong demographic in the under 17 database or I guess population. It's not the meat and potatoes. If you're watching me right now, you're probably not a 17-year-old girl, and I'm really okay with that. It's a matter of I don't understand the philosophy in general of being swayed by endorsements. But I do recognize that makes me somewhat different from most people. I think other people are swayed by endorsements, perhaps. But how many of the people who are following her were going to be voting for Trump anyway? And how many of these young folks, and I know she has some older fans also, obviously she's got some fans, I'm sure, in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I'm sure that there are older folks. I have a different Patrick Bet-David when he broke down the numbers. It made it seem almost laughable, the impact that she was likely to have on this election. But all that being said, apparently she's already feeling regret over endorsing Harrison Walls, and admits that she wishes she could take it back. As reported by Luxury, I don't even know what that is. I don't know how I stumbled on this article. I'm not going to kid you. I have no idea how I stumbled on this article. But as soon as I saw the headline, Taylor Swift expresses regret, and I realized it wasn't about some boyfriend that she's about to write a song about. I was immediately drawn to it, and when I finished reading the headline, I was like, "Oh, I'm definitely talking about this tonight." I haven't even read the story yet. I seriously only read the headline. I read this, and I'm like, okay, all right, that's 15 minutes right there. That's 15 minutes of showtime. I don't know what we right now. You're in the same exact position I'm in. I have no idea what the rest of this article says, and I'm very excited for it. I'm like, oh, this seems like a good story. This seems like something that's going to be a fun read. And I'm not surprised because I'm positive that anyone who's ever voted for Kamala wish they could take it back 10 minutes later. Pretty sure about that. Pretty sure. But let's see what we got. Let's see. Let's get into it. In a surprising turn of events, pop sensation Taylor Swift has expressed regret over her public endorsements of Vice President Kamala Harris, and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. The singer, who has previously been vocal about her political stances, now finds herself wishing she had reconsidered her support. Hollywood. Just stay in Hollywood. Stay out of politics. Just no, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to weigh in on this stuff. Stay in your lane. You don't have this, like, no one needs to hear from you on other topics. You go out there and do your form of entertainment, whatever that form is, and do it to the best of your abilities, and we'll sit and we'll applaud. We'll shower you with money and with love and attention. You don't have to be like, no, I'm going to venture out into talking to you about what medications you need to take. And I'm going to tell you who you need to vote for. And because I was a doctor, I played a doctor on TV. So now I'm like Dr. Drake Ramore. I can tell you exactly what medicines you need and what's right for you. And since I sing about a woman who's sad, I can come out and talk to you about politics, about about young girls who need abortions. It's like, just stay in your friggin' lane. Why? Just stay in your lane. Do you hear me trying to charge money for singing? No, you don't. You don't. I don't do that. I don't go there. I don't go there. You know what you know and know enough to know, like, you don't really know. You don't really know. Stop trying to change the world. Well, anyhow, I'm not charging people to watch me play football. But there's top football players coming out. Sources close to Swift claim that her endorsements have sparked a wave of backlash from fans and critics alike. Controversy has led to heated debates online, with many questioning her alignment with the politics of both politicians. It seems that the once clear-cut decisions back Harris and Walz has left Swift in a precarious position, both with her fan base and her public image. In a candid conversation with insiders, Swift reportedly stated, quote, "I didn't realize the impact my endorsement would have, and if I could take it back, I would." It's like, if she's too stupid to know enough about politics to recognize how it's going to affect her public image. This is a woman whose expertise is her public image. Her expertise is her public image. And when it comes to politics, she's too stupid to recognize how voicing her thoughts on politics are going to affect her public image. What the hell can she know about a political candidate? Revelation has shocked many, especially considering her history of political advocacy. The fallout from the decision has already begun to impact her career. Some of her major sponsors have distanced themselves from the star, adding fuel to the fire. While Swift is known for standing by beliefs, this incident has proven that even the most well-intentioned decisions can lead to unforeseen consequences. Unforeseen consequences! Unforeseen consequences! My God! My God! Unforeseen consequences. That's like saying, like, if a guy who's drunk out of his mind goes into like a bathroom with all the lights out and just starts aiming around everywhere, there might be some unforeseen splatter. How is this unforeseen? How is this unforeseen? It's very foreseen. It's very, very foreseen. Anyone with half a brain of insight is like, okay, let's just think through what's likely to unfold as a result of you doing these steps in this circumstance. So it's like, okay, you're drunk out of your mind. You can't even tell which direction is up or down. You barely can get your zipper open. It's pitch black. And you're just, and you're like basically doing the Kazatska in there because you're so drunk. And you're like, oh, wow, who could have foreseen? There might be some splatter here. This is ridiculous. It's not unforeseen. It's not unforeseen. It's that you completely blinded yourself and pretended, I couldn't have known that. How could anyone have known this? What happened? I wouldn't have known that. This is just not, no, it's not. It's the wrong adjective. It's the wrong it's not, we can't use that adjective here. We can't. We can't. This is, no, it's not. There are a lot of consequences. They might be terrible consequences. They might be overstated consequences. They might be costly consequences, but they're not unforeseen consequences. No. Maybe the magnitude is unforeseen. That's possible. It's possible the magnitude is unforeseen. That I believe. Fans are now left wondering how this will affect Swift's future endorsements and whether she'll continue to engage in political conversations as freely as she has in the past. I'll tell you right now, she sure as hell won't. She sure as hell won't. Because at the end of the day, my personal assessment of Taylor Swift, having absolutely no background in psychology, never having spoken to her, basically having heard of 2 of her songs and seen like under 5 minutes of her doing interviews ever, my personal expert analysis of her psychology is that she is addicted to the love that she gets from her fans. Addicted to it. And I think that she gets more of a rush out of that than any relationship she could ever have with a man or a woman. That's what I think. I think that her entire life is dedicated towards that relationship of having I think she's the perfect representative of Zoomers. Everything I've seen of her, all 5 minutes, and my years and years of zero education in psychology, but in analyzing people and how they look, talk, and think. Everything I've seen and read about her, which I think I might have read now it's like I'm 5 paragraphs into this? So probably 12 paragraphs in my life about Taylor Swift. Everything I know about her tells me that she's a woman who basically that is the most important relationship she has in her life. That and probably with money. I think she's probably, which that's a common thing. But doesn't that make her the perfect pop star for this age? The age which basically everyone is finding their love and happiness through whatever accolades they can get through social media, and that's basically where she lives and thrives and is literally the queen of. Credit to her PR team. So if it's not working in that venue, I got a feeling we're not going to see too many future endorsements. That's just my guess. That's my take. That's my guess. Not too many more. She might make it clear who she's voting for, but not the formal endorsement. That's my prediction based on that wealth of information I have about Taylor Swift and who she is as a person. As the story unfolds, it's clear Swift's political stance has become more complex than ever before. Oh, let's hear that. Only time will tell how Swift navigates this tumultuous period in her career. One thing is certain, her regret over endorsing Harris and Walz will likely leave a lasting mark on her public persona. I can only pray she writes a song about all the misery she endured as a result of endorsing Kamala. Oh, my God. So basically, the moral of the story is whoever gets in bed with Kamala and Tim Walz feels instant regrets. That's the moral of the story. Let that be a lesson to you, Hollywood. Let that be a lesson to you. You see, my point is, and the reason, and you might say to yourself, Joe, seriously, Joe, why would you go on a limb and just start making all these psychological assessments of Taylor Swift when you admit you know so little about her and don't even have any sort of psychological background? Like, why would anyone even take that seriously? And here's why you should. Here's why. I'm not going to just spit it out there. I'll tell you why I come to this conclusion. Okay, it's not just something that's just like out of nowhere. It is rooted in just assessing the world and life, that is what something I've been doing since I'm a little kid, is like I'm just trying to understand how people act, why people act a certain way. And my conclusions that I shared with you while laughing about it, but at the same time being serious in what I was saying as to where she's at and what is most important to her. The reason I reach these conclusions is because we've seen multiple people in Hollywood venture into discussing politics and trying to be influential in politics, and they do it unabashedly. They don't express regret. They don't express, they understand that backlash is coming. They know they're going to get a lot of love from people in their side of the camp, in their aisle, and from Hollywood and their friends. And they also know that a certain percentage of people are going to be very mad at them. When you get that lunatic Robert De Niro going out there saying, I want to punch Donald Trump in the mouth. Like he's like, you know, a 90-year-old tough guy. He knows that that other New Yorkers are going to be screaming at him, you bum, get out of here. He knows that's going to happen. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't feel any regret about it. He's not surprised by it. When that guy whose voice never changed, what's his name? The Luke Skywalker dude, okay, and that crazy kook comes out there and says, Trump is a threat to democracy. He knows he's going to get hate. He knows he'll get a lot of people showing him love, and he knows he's going to get a certain percentage of people who are going to be giving hate to him. Anyone who, Jim Carrey, Tom Hanks. These folks know they're going to get hate from some people. They're okay with it. When have you ever seen Taylor Swift expose herself to potential PR backlash from anyone? That doesn't happen. She lives in a PR coddling bubble sphere. So when she ventures out and then expresses regret, it's like, that tells me if you're not willing to take the hit, you're bothered by it, you're regretting doing it, that tells me that the hit really affects her. It really affects her. Well, what kind of mindset do you have for that to really affect you? You have 1 billion fans. You have $1 billion. You have so many people who love you. So if 5% of the world suddenly turns on you, that's a problem for you? Aren't you supposedly standing up for what's really important, what's right, and trying to save the world? That's a problem for you? The only reason that would be a problem for you is if having everybody love you all the time is an essential part of who you are as a person. And then, yeah, that would bother you. So, yeah, that's how I come to this conclusion, that's what her most significant relationship is for her. It's feeling universal love from her fans, which she's really great at. She's really great at developing that in ways that few people can match. It certainly seems to be a lot more important to her than, I don't know, finding someone that she can settle down and spend a lifetime with. It's not like there's a lack of opportunities for her. I mean, literally, anyone within 10 years of her age probably has who's single, she probably has a pretty good shot at. Assuming she's not some, closet psycho. So, even her relationship with Travis Kelce, he almost looks like he's her eye candy. Like he's a beard for her. Like when I see two of them walking, it's like, oh, this is so that the paparazzi will talk about me and tell us how beautiful we look together. And how exciting it is. Like she's like a little princess. That she's like, America's princess. Princesses aren't used to having people walk up and going like they do in The Princess Bride. Boo! Boo! She's freaking Buttercup. And now she's hearing people walk up and say, boo! That's what we're seeing here. And that's how I come to that. That's how I come to that psychological assessment of who she is. I don't know. If we're going to talk about cases, I want to sue state of California for quashing gas-powered vehicles. Where do I start? Oh, God. I don't know. I'm not admitting in California. Summit Pursue Trainers. Pursue SL Trainers. Chef's kiss. Okay. Well, 45% of Swift US fans are millennials, 20% are Gen X, 25% are boomers, according to the 2023 survey. This means nearly half of her millions of fans are likely over 45. Oh, okay, there you go. Like I said, I'm sure many of you like her work. Does that mean that you also have to recognize there's a difference, right? I mean, there's a difference between the rabid someone who's like, oh, you know what, I like her music, versus someone being like, oh my God, Taylor told me to do it, I have to. It's for Taylor. That's different kind of fan, right? Different kind of fan. The right here is why Trump attacked Tay-Tay for the endorsements. She needed to pay a price for her decisions. Barnes Trumps are right again. As Jordan said, even Republicans buy shoes. She needs to pay a price. Yeah. No, it's good. Shut her up. This way we don't have to hear from her in the next election. It's good that she got a little backlash. It's good for her. It's good for her. It's good for America. It's good for everyone. Betty White and Drew Carey stay out of politics because it'll piss off half your audience. Yeah, that's what you do. That's what you do. A lot of people do that. That's what you do. And you know what? Kudos to them. Kudos to them. Why? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? You know, I've actually seen some attorneys out there who their whole thing is they try to be as non-political as possible. Non-political as possible. And I'm totally fine with that. They just want to be breaking down the law and talking to their audience, explaining to them what the law is, and try and make it as non-political as possible. And I have great respect for that. I'm like, that's cool. That's the way you want to approach it. Power to you. Power to you. And look, everyone's going to have their own political leanings about, and they might not be like, I'm pro Democrat, I'm pro-Republican, or MAGA, or progressive. It might just be like, on this issue, I really feel strongly about something. And that issue could be about abortion. It could be about some international thing like Ukraine or Palestine. It could be about the border. It could be about anything. But why are you're using the pulpit that you earned in this stratosphere to suddenly try and weigh in with something that has significance in a completely unrelated stratosphere? Often in a topic that you're relatively unknowledgeable about. And you're basically trying to bully your opinion into this other stratosphere where you didn't earn your stripes in that arena, but you're using the stripes that you earned here to try to apply it over there, which is, I mean, think about that. I mean, that's basically like, you know, Donald Trump saying, give me a dancing contract, because everyone knows what a great politician I am, how great I am on like in hosting The Apprentice. So give me a dance contract. It's like, what? No, that's weird. It's weird. Joe, you're a closeted Swiftie. Yes. Exposed. The thumbnail exposed me. And all of this, Fanny is not getting headline marquee billing. That's true. She ain't. She's not getting it. She ain't getting no headline marquee billing. That's 100% sure. Not much going on with her. She got all the billing she needed. More billing than she was ever entitled to. She really did. She got tons of billing. More billing than she ever should have earned. All right. Time for us to start talking about the Haitians. Let's talk about the Haitian situation. The Haitian situation. We need to talk. I need to talk to you about the Haitian situation. It all starts with this guy. It all starts with the Chandra Law Firm. The Chandra Law Firm. Because you need to give everything its proper context. If you're going to understand a story, you need to have proper context. So let's start by now analyzing a law firm called the Chandra Law Firm. This is the Chandra Law Firm. High-stakes civil rights advocates serving people throughout Ohio and across the nation. That's who they are. Tell us about us. Who are you? Who are you? They're a boutique civil rights and white-collar criminal litigation firm with highly credentialed, experienced attorneys who provide passionate, creative, and relentless advocacy for their clients in Ohio and across America. Chandra Law has been peer-rated in U.S. News and World Report's one of the best law firms in America for civil rights and Ohio's super lawyers, which to become a super lawyer, I think you give like a $20 donation. And best lawyers in America. At Chandra Law, we view ourselves as karmic facilitators. Oh, we're bringing karma to you. Bending, as Dr. Martin Luther King said, to the moral arc, the universe toward justice, holding wrongdoers accountable for their bad behavior and protecting our clients from attack. We've achieved tremendous results for clients when everything, liberty, property, or reputation was on the line. As a former federal prosecutor, law director for major American city, large firm litigator, both Los Angeles, Cleveland, founder, and my managing partner, Subodh Chandra, draws on experience that few lawyers have had in combination. I'll tell you this, his experiences are ones that no lawyer has had. No, in fact, whatever experiences you've had are experiences that no one but you has ever had. That's technically true. And Chandra's distinguished colleagues, who include veterans of large firm practice and several former federal law clerks, drive the firm's dynamic strategies to get results. Where can we find out more about him? Can I find him? I think I have it here. Let me see if I can just dig something for you real quick here. I want to find, what is that? What was that? Oh, okay. Who's this thing that popped up on me? Yes. All right. You heard it too, right? It wasn't just me. This is the person who started a law firm, the citizens' criminal charges against Donald Trump, the civil rights attorney. It's a very unfortunate sound, I think. I agree with y'all. You would think they would have his social media information, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? I think he is on X. Let's check him up on X. What is that? How does he spell his stupid name? Subode. There we go. Oh. Oh no, Subode. Oh no, Subode. Oh no. Oh my God. Subode, civil rights lawyer, karmic facilitator, and Shorner law firm, managing partner, former federal prosecutor, Cleveland law director, triplet dad. Great. Followed by Robert Gavea. Oh my God. That's great. I love you, Robert. You're awesome. That dude is the best. Followed by Robert Gavea. Oh, he's great. Well, I think we need to know more about this guy. I'm going to follow him too. Yeah, so here's your classic. Here's your classic. Classic TDS sufferer who's got his little Kamala Harris. I assume that's a real picture of him and Kamala. It looks like their shoulders are even touching there. So, you know, I assume that that's an actual photo of the man here. I'm going to pull up here. I downloaded. Let's pull up here for you. Haitians Trump charges. And here are the charges that he's filed against Donald Trump and James David Vance, J.D. Vance. Here is his charges that he filed. Guerline Joseph, on behalf of the Haitian Bridge Alliance, Inc., respectfully offers this bench memorandum in support of attached affidavit under RC 2935.09a, and D, the affidavit, which is properly submitted on the plain language of statute to a judge in italics of this court for review, and not the prosecutor. I don't want prosecutors. No prosecutors. Just a judge. I want just a judge. Charges Donald J. Trump and James David Vance with following criminal offenses: disrupting public services, making false alarms, complicity, telecommunications harassment, aggravated, menacing. He's a menace. He's a menace to society. That's what they are. They're a menace to society. Telecommunications harassment and complicity. The Haitian Bridge Alliance and Ms. Joseph respectfully request that this court make independent findings of probable cause based on the facts presented and issue warrants for Trump and Vance arrest. Arrest J.D. Vance. Send the police to go get our state senator. Go get him. We're gonna go contact in Florida and get the local sheriffs to arrest him and hail him on in here. Page RC 293509 authorizes private citizens, because apparently this is a thing in Ohio, that private citizens can bring criminal charges. Normally, now, I'm going to tell you something. to be fair with the state of Ohio, I kind of like it. I kind of like the fact that private citizens have a certain level of empowerment to try and get charges pressed. I think that's a good thing. I don't like the fact that the only people who have the authority to decide which laws are going to be enforced and which ones will not be enforced are prosecutors, because that just leads towards corruption. And all the terrible lawfare that we've seen is that they alone hold that unique power. They alone hold that unique power. To refer the matter for the but here's the thing: is they're asking for something. Don't ruin the ending here. What's that? Now he says, "I just want the court, not a prosecutor." And he's saying that this requires the court to issue arrest or refer the matter to a prosecuting attorney for investigation. So 293509D allows private citizens to file an affidavit charging criminal offenses. 3509, person having knowledge or offense to file an affidavit, official review before a complaint filed, provides in relevant part A. A reviewing official means a judge of a court of record, the prosecuting attorney, now they bolded the judge of a court, or attorney charged by law with the prosecution of offenses. Okay, so a judge, the point being a judge is empowered to prosecute, which that's, by the way, a little weird. It is a little weird for a judge to be serving and executing laws. It's a little strange, but okay. In all cases not provided by 293502 or 3508 of the revised code, in order to cause the arrest or prosecution of a person charged with committing an offense in this state, a peace officer or a private citizen having knowledge of the fact shall comply with this section. Private citizen having knowledge of the facts who seeks to cause an arrest or prosecution in this section may file an affidavit charging the offense committed with the reviewing official. So what they're trying to argue here is that this part here says a reviewing official includes a judge of the court of the record. And I, as a private citizen, I have knowledge of the facts. I want to seek to cause an arrest or prosecution. So I may file an affidavit charging the offense committed with this same reviewing official. This guy here, the reviewing official. Why? For the purpose of review, to determine if a complaint should be filed by the prosecuting attorney or attorney charged by law with the prosecution of offenses in this courts. See, I don't know if he's really understanding things here, and I'm not familiar with Ohio law. I never heard of this statute. He heard of it long before I did, the guy who drafted this. In case you're wondering who drafted this thing, in case you forgot who drafted this thing here, the person who drafted this thing is this guy. This very well-intentioned individual who's just looking for fair advocacy here, wants to have fair application of law. You can tell from his photo here that he's a person who all he cares about is just getting equal justice under the law. That's all. That's what he's all about. You can tell. It's right there. It's written all over his face. You can see exactly what he's about there. There's no hiding the ball. So he's basically saying that under 293509, a judge of a court record is a reviewing official, and a private citizen under D, that I can cause an arrest by filing an affidavit with the reviewing official. And why they're reviewing it, though, is to determine if a complaint should be filed by the prosecuting attorney or attorney charged by law with the prosecution. So I guess this reviewing official is supposed to determine, should I push this on to a prosecutor or not? Not should I issue an arrest, right? But so I don't really know that his understanding of the law is accurate here. And I'm not saying it's inaccurate. I just have questions based on the wording of this statute. When 3509D affidavit charges a felony, filing of affidavit complaint procedure commands a trial court to either forthwith issue a warrant for the arrest of the person charged, or refer the matter to a prosecuting attorney for investigation. So those are the two choices you have here, Judge. According to his understanding of the law, you either need to turn this over, you need to issue an arrest warrant, which I can promise you he's not going to do, or you can hand it over to a prosecuting attorney. That's your choices. So you got two options: issue an arrest warrant or give it to a prosecutor. Okay. So I'm not sure why they put over here this thing here in. Why is this in italics? Not the prosecutor's office. When you do that, it basically, I don't think he understands what he's writing here, because under this statute that you're citing, you can go to the judge, but then the judge is going to give it to the prosecutor. I guess he tried bringing it to a prosecutor. Prosecutor told him to go jump in a lake. That's what I'm reading between the lines as to what happened here historically. That's not being revealed in these papers. I'm just guessing, because you sort of would ask yourself, why didn't you just go straight to the prosecutor and ask him to do it? And my guess is he probably did. Prosecutor said, you're a lunatic with a crazy picture of you and Kamala on your social media account. That's likely what happened here. So he said, I'll show you. I'm going to give it to a judge, and the judge is going to refer it for you to review. and then, well, then I'll review it, and I'll tell you, go jump in a lake. Investigation is neither needed nor requested. Oh, no. Despite the facts presented in the affidavit being open and notorious for the whole world to see, prosecuting attorney has not yet acted to protect the community and hold Trump events accountable for the harm they've instigated. They instigated. You're a bunch of freaking instigators. You're like Woody Woodpeckers. That's what you are, JD Vance. Your little laugh there, it's like a little yeah. That's what he's an instigator. He's an instigator. Oh my God. Thus, the Haitian Bridge Alliance and Ms. Joseph request this court independently find probable cause based on the facts presented in the issue warrants both Trump and Vance. Probable cause having already been determined by this court, prosecuting attorney then must make a public decision about whether that often stands for the rule of law, whether they will further coddle Trump and Vance with complete inaction. This is one angry little man. See, I told you, I still, when I go to New York, I consider it like my old stomping grounds. So when I go there, I make sure to just sort of like when I'm walking on the street, sometimes I'll actually carry like these big heavy things so that my feet make louder sounds when they're walking, when they're pounding the pavement there in New York. Not really intentionally for that purpose. It's just that my lawyer's bag is kind of heavy when I'm carrying stuff in it. So it just sort of sounds like that whole. But his stomping grounds here, apparently Springfield, Ohio, is where he's making a big splash here. He's got his stomping grounds. The probable cause standard is a low threshold. Okay. I argued this with uncivil law, how low a threshold it is. To me, probable cause should be above 50% because it's like probable cause, not possible cause. I just think that it's a 50% threshold with no opposition and relying on on evidence that may not be admissible in court. So that's what makes it a relatively lower threshold than, let's say, a civil suit, because there you can only rely on admissible evidence. Trial court may issue an arrest warrant if they want to end their political career, or upon a finding of probable cause. Affidavits under RC 293509D are governed by Criminal Rule 4, which provides for independent determination of probable cause. Let's get to his statement of facts. Because he's got facts. This guy, I mean, we get that he's asking the court to find probable cause, and because the harmful lies repeatedly spewed by Donald J. Trump and James D. Vance and their impact on the community. Oh, okay. Probable cause exists when the facts and circumstances known, which are reasonably trustworthy, are sufficient to warrant a prudent individual in believing another has committed or was committing an offense. All right. I'm trying to figure out what the offense is. You got to walk us through what the offense is. Let me catch up on what you're all talking about. Is this because this is my conversation with the AI bot? How's he thinking that? Or is this because of the analogy I gave to the drunk guy? I don't even know. J.D. Vance is protected by speech, and we got this already. Hasn't this fool ever heard of Haitian religion? Look and live! A Haitian man speaks on his culture. Well, yeah. In Ohio, if you're present witnessing a felony to perform a citizen's arrest, and you best be sure, or you can be charged with a misdemeanor. Interesting. I think that they might say seeing the video that's the impact, because it's their statements on social media that's what's so damaging. So that would probably be his defense to that claim. So he wants to say probable cause is lower threshold than by a preponderance of evidence because it does not require the position or high level certainty needed for a preponderance of the evidence. Yeah, so I interpret that, say precision or high level certainty is in the standard of evidence that's presented. The only preponderance of the evidence. Probable cause relies on a reasonable belief which is less stringent than proving whether someone is more likely true than not, as preponderance the evidence standard requires. See State v. Reniff from Ohio, 8th District. O'Donnell dissenting. And, of course, probable cause is far less of a standard beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, that I certainly agree with. The evidence about Trump and Vance's misconduct recounted in the attached affidavit meets this low threshold. All right, let's see what you got here. Let's get to what you got, because let's get to what you got. But here are the crimes that he supposedly violated. 2904 A and B by causing widespread bomb and other threats. Let's pull up 2904 A and B because I actually did some homework here so that you wouldn't have to. 2904. No person by any means, knowingly, or no, by damaging or tampering with any property, shall interrupt or impair radio, telephone, telegraph, or other mass communication service. Is that what they were trying to do? Is there a mens rea for that? That they wanted to interrupt people? Was that what their mens rea was? Did they have the intent to interrupt or impair public transportation? Did they have the mens rea? Oh, you know why I'm going to talk about dogs and cats? Because I want to substantially impair the ability of law enforcement officers, firefighters, and personnel to do their job. You think that was their mens rea? Really? Really? No person shall knowingly use any computer system, computer network to disrupt. This is talking about like a Computer Fraud Abuse Act. This is against hackers. So you want to say their statements now are interrupting the impairing the functions of police. That was their objective. That was their mens rea. I'm sorry. You have to be out of your mind bonkers. Okay. You have to be literally like a lunatic, like this dude right here, to think that there's mens rea. Put aside mens rea meaning intent. That was his objective. His objective was to disrupt the police. Put aside freedom of speech. Let's just put that aside. put a pin on that elephant in the room, which destroys everything he's saying here. Even if there was no such thing as freedom of speech, even if we lived in some crazy communist type country like, I don't know, France or Australia, where they don't believe in freedom of speech, even if we lived in a place like that, you still need to have the intent to commit the crime. And there ain't no mens rea that the reason they're saying this is because they're trying to get the police bogged down in Springfield. That's why you know what, when he was on the debate stage there, you know what Trump was thinking to himself? You know, those police down there in Springfield, kind of bored. You know, it'd be a great way to really mess with them. I'm going to bring up in the debate here this whole thing about Haitians eating the cats and eating the dogs, so that way the police in Springfield, they're going to be impeded from making arrests. So this way, my friends who are criminals in Springfield, they'll be able to get away with committing more crimes because this will help bog down the police force. That's probably what his intent was, right? That's probable cause for that. Doofus. So yeah, I don't think you're going to get to 2904A or 29 or A or B because they didn't intend for there to be bomb threats. You can't even say that they knew there would be bomb threats. Why would anyone think that? And by the way, supposedly Governor DeWine of Ohio stated today that his belief is that the bomb threats came from a different country. So you can even ask, I'll tell you this much, if Governor DeWine is accurate in his assessment that those bomb threats come from a different country, is this not the media, by reporting on these bomb threats, are they not now aiding and abetting foreign interference in our elections? Speaking of which, President Zelensky, from the tin pot dictator from that country over in Eastern Europe, Zelensky, the tyrant who doesn't believe in elections anymore, Zelensky, the greatest thief of American funds in history, he supports Kamala Harris in this forthcoming election, which apparently Kamala Harris is very proud of. You have to ask, how is this not foreign interference in our elections? Feels like foreign interference in our election. I don't know. To me, it feels a little bit like foreign interference. Much like reporting on these empty bomb threats, which fortunately, look, I don't like bomb threats. I certainly don't like there being bombs in schools. I'm not encouraging that. It doesn't really matter that they happen to be from a foreign country. I'm simply saying it's a weird situation here that people keep talking about these bomb threats as if, like, you know, this is somehow tied to Trump. Really, all they're doing is that they're trying to help spread foreign disinformation. It's probably Chinese disinformation to turn the election. You got to wonder why Mark Zuckerberg is allowing anyone to talk about that on his little communist platform over there. Moving on here. Made false alarms in violation of 2917 by knowingly causing an alarm in Springfield, Kamala, but continues to repeat lies, and state and local officials have said were false. Well, if state officials said it's false, they must be false. Let's check out 2917 here. No person shall do any of the following: initiate a circular report or warning of alleged impending fire. Don't see that. Explosion? Nope. Crime? Nope. Other catastrophe? Probably not. Knowing that a report or warning or is false and likely cause public inconvenience or alarm. That people are eating cats? You think that's what it is? Or you think that's referring to like false warnings about hurricanes? What do you think? False warnings about incoming nuclear weapons. I think that's what it's talking about. Not false warnings Not purportedly, which I don't even think they are false, but purportedly false warnings about Haitians walking off with geese. I don't know. That's how I understand it. I'm not even sure what they're talking about here with the report. Knowingly cause false alarm fire alert to be transmitted with any organization. They're not talking to organizations. Report to any law enforcement agency. That's not what's happening here. Initiate a particular report or warning of alleged impending fire. I don't even know what this is. This definitely seems like it's talking about fire, right? Like fire emergency fire drill is an exception. So I think this guy is desperately trying to come up with something here, but I don't think 2917 applies to this whole thing here. This is the problem with trying to be a little too creative. So you think some judge is going to sign off and say, yeah, it's under RC 2917.32A about pulling false fire alarms. That's why I'm going to arrest Trump. Totally going to do that. Totally going to arrest our state senator for that because of his cat memes. Committed telecommunications harassment in violation of 2917.21. Don't worry, we got that statute up here. What's 2917.21? No, that's not it. Which one is this? This is 32. Did I miss 21? There it is. Telecommunications harassment. No person shall knowingly make a cause to be made a telecommunication if the call does any of the following. It's the purpose is to harass, intimidate, abuse any person on the premises. Was that what we got here? To which the telecommunication is made. To harass the people to where the telecommunication is made. Really? Is that what this is? Is that what people are going to say? Is that what? We got 2917. I just did that one. 2903.21A, knowingly causing others false believe that members of Springfield, Ohio Haitian community would cause serious physical harm to the person or property of others within the Springfield, Ohio community. Let's see what 2903 is. No person acting with the kind of culpability required for the commission of offense shall. What? 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 How is this? By knowingly causing others to falsely believe that members of the community would cause serious physical harm. So how do they violate this? 2903. That's this right here. I pulled up the wrong one. Okay, maybe I pulled up the wrong one. Maybe it wasn't making any sense. I knew that wasn't making any sense. 2903.21. This is it. Sorry. No person shall knowingly cause another to believe that the offender will cause serious physical harm to the person's property of the other person, whether unborn. In addition, this is aggravated menacing. So this is what we got. It's a misdemeanor of the first degree. If they had the intent to do this, and they did do it, and you knowingly cause another to believe the offender will that the offender will cause serious physical harm to the person or property of other person. Oh my God. This bumbling doofus. What a doofus. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. How stupid can you be? Oh my God. Idiot. Idiot. Moron. Wow. What a bumbling clod. God. Oh my God. Sitting there trying to understand what the hell this claim was from this dude. Wow. Wow. 2903. What is this? What is this situation here? What's this crime? You cannot cause someone else, so you can't go over to your neighbor and cause them to believe that you are about to cause serious physical harm to the person or property of the other person, or to their unborn, their property, or a member of their family. Meaning, you cannot go up and tell someone, make someone else think that you're about to, let's say, beat the hell out of their husband, their child. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to run your kid over with my car. That's a crime. What is that crime? You are menacing them. It's aggravated menacing. You're trying to cause them. It's like, wow, you really ticked me off. I'm going to go and I'm going to harm your sister. I'm going to go break your father's legs. That action of threatening someone, intimidating them like that is menacing. It's a violation 2903.21a. The menacing is that you're basically making someone say you're about to do something to that person, to that person, or to that person's loved ones, or their families, or to their cats. What is the crime here? What is it here? How is he trying to apply it here? This guy who I struggled to figure out how he ever passed a law school exam. That Trump and Vance committed menacing by causing others, like residents of Springfield, to believe that Haitians are coming after them. What? That's not what the statute says. That's not what this statute says. Wow. Wow. Let me see if I'm missing something here. In addition to other basis for the person believe that the offender will cause serious physical harm, the other person, blah, 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 the other person's belief may be based on words or conduct of the offender that are directly at or identify a corporate association or organization that employs the other person or to which the other person belongs. Nope. I have no idea what this Looney Tunes lawyer is talking about. I got no idea. God, what a boob. God, what a boob. We haven't even gotten to a defense based on freedom of speech. You know, basic things. Free political speech. It's actually a debate. It's actually words he's saying in a debate are part of the part of the cause here. Major part of his claims. How dare you say that in a debate? God. This wasn't it. And you want to know what the real violation? How did they do all these terrible crimes? What terrible stuff did they do here? Let's look into what they did. Let's check out the affidavit here in support. We're not going to go through everything here because my God, he's so wordy. Single spaced. 29 pages, single spaced of this idiocy. We do not have to guess at the motivation behind these actions. Vance has publicly admitted that he and Trump have to create stories for media attention. Nope, that's not what he said. That's not what he said. He said, if I talk about things that will create stories for the media. Not that it was fictional, not that he didn't believe it. In fact, I'm going to actually do one better for you. I'm going to do one better for you. I want to share with you here a little excerpt of J.D. Vance talking about just this very topic. Just this very topic that this ridiculous dunderhead, this triggered moron, wants to pretend is not actual fact when it is. Let's check out J.D. Vance. It was a week ago.
Hi, Senator. Thank you for taking our questions. My questions for you is, do you plan to visit Springfield anytime soon? And Governor DeWine said at a press conference today that you guys haven't spoken since the events in Springfield have played out. Do you plan to reach out to him?
Well, first of all, our office has been in constant contact with the governor's office in Springfield, Ohio. I mean, I've probably been to Springfield 100 times in my life. It's a town about 45 minutes away from where I grew up. It's got like a very famous ice cream place. And if you know anything about me, I love my ice cream. And so I've taken my kids there any number of times. We probably have some pretty good ice cream in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, I imagine, right? But look, I do want to go to Springfield, and I do want to talk with folks on the ground. We also have to be honest that they've got a local law enforcement agencies that are stressed out by what's going on, including the influx of 20,000 migrants. Is it the best interest of Springfield for me to show up with a 40-person strong Secret Service detail right now? Maybe not. So we're going to do what's in the best interest of the citizens of Springfield, but we're going to keep in contact. I mean, every single day we are hearing from multiple people on the ground in Springfield, trying to understand what's going on and trying to help where we can. And that's what we're going to keep on doing. And certainly we're going to visit, but we're going to visit in a way that's consistent with the best interest of the residents of the town.
This is from a rally that Vance held last week, wherein he was taking questions from reporters near the end of the rally.
And finally, let me just remind, just while we're on the topic of Springfield, we have to remember here, Springfield is a microcosm of what Kamala Harris's open border is going to do.
And this is a very important point that the Republican Party has to keep, and Trump and Vance need to keep hitting on. This is not about Springfield. Springfield is a tiny microcosm of what's coming to your hometown. This is what is coming to your hometown under a Kamala reign. This is what has been coming to your hometown. And it's just going to be another 15 million more if she gets reelected. It's coming to your town. That's what the message of Springfield is. It's not about the Haitians. It's not about Springfielders. Springfieldians? I don't know.
Every town and every city in this country. Now, the promise, these guys actually say the promise is that if we bring in millions and millions of illegal, low-wage migrants, we are going to make America more prosperous. That's what they say. Well, check the tape on what's going on in Springfield. You get people getting evicted, thrown out of their houses to make way for migrants who are on housing benefits, paid for by your tax dollars, evicting American citizens. We've got an overwhelmed hospital system, an overwhelmed school system. We've got residents, black and white, by the way, who talk about not even driving on certain sides of town because the car accident rates are so bad. And of course, that's jacked up car insurance rates for all the people in this town. It is an unbelievable tragedy, totally unforced, invited by Kamala Harris's open border, and it must stop.
He was a powerful speaker.
Hi, Senator. Caitlin Corelli with the...
And we'll do two more questions, and then I'll leave you with some final thoughts, and we'll hit the road. Ma'am.
Okay. Senator, thank you. Caitlin Corelli with the Daily Mail. Vice President Harris said again today that the, quote, hateful rhetoric over migrants eating pets is what has caused the bomb threats in Springfield. Can you just respond to her latest, please, on this?
I think that's basically my response. Just put that in the paper, loud boos and 2 thumbs down. That's my response to what Kamala Harris said. Look, here's, you guys are going to get me all fired up again. I was ready to leave. Here's the thing about this. It's what happened in Springfield is not just disgraceful because it's made people's lives worse. What's happened is disgraceful because the way that Kamala Harris and her media allies have tried to silence the people from daring to complain that life has gotten worse in their own community, in their own country. Think about this. Think about this. The argument was that because Donald Trump and I and the many, many hundreds of residents of Springfield that we've talked to in the last few weeks, because we dared to point out that life has gotten worse for those citizens, we are somehow to blame because a psychopath called in a bomb threat. Now, that story actually got a little bit more complicated in the last 24 hours because you know who was calling in the bomb threats? People who were living in foreign countries. Mike DeWine, the governor of Ohio, came out and said the bomb threats are coming from foreign countries. And he actually said primarily one country. I'd like to know what country that is. But look, the media is laundering literal foreign disinformation in an effort to silence the citizens of their own country from participating in an American election. It is despicable, and it has to stop. We cannot.
You're cultivating foreign information. Foreign disinformation.
Think about it. Let's just say, God forbid, these bomb threats were being called in from America and not from a foreign country. It actually doesn't change it that much because, look, bomb threats are despicable. We condemn violence, and of course, we condemn threats of violence. But we do not believe in a heckler's veto in this country. The fact that some psychopath is calling in bomb threats, does that mean the residents of Springfield are not allowed to be annoyed about housing prices? Does that mean that they're not allowed to complain about 20,000 migrants being dropped on their doorstep? Does that mean a mom is not allowed to be frustrated that hospital wait times have gotten so long that her kids can't get treatment for basic medical conditions? That is a ridiculous principle. And the principle, actually, if you think about it, it's all about censorship. It's moral blackmail in the favor of censorship, and I reject it, whoever's doing it.
Very insightful comment where he's sort of breaking down. Let's think through what's actually happening here as this story is developing, where they're trying to cloud the very obvious issues that were created by her disastrous policies. Her disastrous policies have made life miserable for Springfield. And now, how dare you call out their misery because now there are bomb threats? That's ridiculous. How dare you implement disastrous policies?
Hi, Senator Jake Traylor, NBC News. Given your remarks on Sunday that you don't speak on behalf of former President Trump before you've spoken to him about an issue, I know you said the likelihood of a federal abortion ban coming to a president's desk is very unlikely, but given the topicality of the issue of abortion, don't you think—
I'm from NBC News. I need to talk to you about abortion, even though it's completely irrelevant to this entire election.
That's something running mates should have discussed before?
Well, we have discussed the topic of abortion many, many times. What we hadn't discussed is a ridiculous hypothetical of a federal abortion ban coming to his desk. Because look, President Trump, and to be fair, I think he's right about this. We shouldn't take the—
What if there's a woman who came into the White House and she said that she wanted Trump to give her an abortion? Would he give her the abortion? Would he deny her reproductive rights? Would he give it to her? Would he deny her? This is how stupid this question is.
Media bait. We shouldn't discuss things that aren't actually going to become law in this country. So when he says, I think that abortion should be a state's issue, and he says that I'm not backing a national abortion ban, then that should be enough to end the discussion. You take him for his word or you don't, but the idea— It's you could ask a million different pieces of legislation. Would you veto that piece of legislation? And I wouldn't have talked to Donald Trump about it unless he actually supports the substance of those legislation. So let's not engage in stupid hypotheticals. Let's not engage in something that's never actually going to happen. The president thinks abortion should be decided by the states. He's been as consistent as he could about that issue. Thank you. You know, Mike, I'll give you a question just to be nice. This will be our last question. And this is the New York Times, so don't hold it against them.
The paper of record, New York Times. I appreciate you inviting the tough questions and your crowd welcoming the tough questions here. The question is—
I'm sure you're going to ask me an easy one, though, Mike, just to make up for it.
The question is about Springfield, not about the situation, but the style, which I think is something new that we're seeing on the campaign trail. You've said, regardless of what the exact precise facts are here, it's worth it to make the larger point of in town overrun by immigration.
Well, I'd say, Mike.
And this is why I pulled this up. I knew it was in here somewhere. I'm like, where's the thing where he talks about the fact that they say he created stories? Because if we recall, if you've been here more than 5 minutes, which I'm sure most of you have been, because the average time that most of you here is 38 minutes. So he says, we don't have to guess the motivation behind these actions. Vance has publicly admitted that he and Trump have to create stories for media attention. And this is where J.D. Vance addresses that BS claim, and he addressed it a week ago, long before these papers were filed.
I'll ask your question,
Yes,
but no, I didn't say regardless of the precise facts. I said you have to listen to what people are saying, right? The media has tried to say now for days that I've made up this story. I haven't made up anything. I've just listened to people who are telling me these things. And when I said, and the media always does this, they're very dishonest. When I say that I created a story, I'm talking about the media story. By focusing the press's attention on what's going on in Springfield, I'm not making anything up. I'm just telling you what my own constituents are telling me. But ask your question.
That's the point. Your willingness to shine a light on issues you see as important.
Sure.
And I'm wondering if you can describe, if you know where your line is on that. Something, at what point what's something you're willing not to say in order to make a point that is important to you?
Well, I mean, come on.
If you know.
Mike.
The actually gives good answer.
Well,
Mike, question for him,
Mike,
not the crowd.
What I wouldn't say is that the New York Times is a respectable paper. That's one thing I wouldn't be willing to say. But all kidding aside, if one person had called me and said, I'm seeing this in Springfield, we maybe let that pass. When 4, 5, 6, 7 people are telling me they see something in Springfield, and on top of it, that there are certain people who refuse to listen to them, who refuse to take their concerns seriously, that's when it's my job as a United States Senator to listen to my constituents. That's really, it's very simple. Now, I mean, look, there's a lot of crazy stuff you read about. I mean, one of these things, I don't know if you saw the story from a couple of years ago that like the Defense Department had declassified the UFO stuff. Did you see that? That was a crazy story. I don't talk about that because I have no idea what's going on. So my standard for whether I talk about something, Mike, is whether enough people that I trust bring it to me, at least to the point where I feel like I've got to investigate it myself, not just trust the media to do their job, because a lot of times they don't.
Hey,
so
there you go. There you go. That was just dude was dropping bombs. So Squeak Wheels said, fire the political, fire FBI agents, disperse the rest of the DC-based agents to other offices throughout the U.S. and tear down, implode the J. Edgar Hoover building. That was when we were back a while back. I apologize for that when I was covering the Eric Adams story and the raid of Donlan's house, which I thought the explanation for that raid was borderline hilarious. If you joined late and missed that, I urge you to scroll back and check that out, because that had me laughing. I'll tell you this much also. I can relate to his frustration here over this, because his frustration of people like trying to make a story about how you're causing bomb threats, or this lunatic over here comes out here saying that this is now a crime and that some magistrate judge should go arrest Donald Trump for this, because these lies have devastating results. 33 bomb threats across Springfield, most of which DeWine says coming from a different country. Hospitals, schools, universities, and government officials evacuated. Yeah, they're also overcrowded. You know why? Because the woman you're so proud to stand beside in your stupid little picture over there, because she has a policy saying, let's send 20,000 Haitians to a city that has 40,000 people. How do they do all this? What did they do? What did they do to to purportedly cause all this chaos, this mayhem. They got memes. They got people on social media talking about it. They got End Wokeness saying things like Springfield is a small town. 4 years ago, they had 60,000 residents. Under Harris and Biden, 20,000 Haitian immigrants were shipped to the town. Now ducks and pets are disappearing. There's a headless goose. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. There he goes, just walking down the street. Do what did he? Biddy dum, biddy do. Oh my God. Hacking the heads off and stuffing all that meat. You know how else? You know who else they got started? They got that crazy right-winger Charlie Kirk. Crazy right-winger Charlie Kirk saying residents of Springfield, Ohio reported that Haitians are eating their family pets. Another gift of the Biden-Harris mass immigration replacement plan. Liberals will soon be lecturing Americans on why they need to be sensitive to Haitian culture and accept this as the new normal. It's true. It's true. Is anything in there not true? How dare they publicize this? And you see where he's doing it. He's even posting out himself. Months ago, I raised the issue of Haitian illegal immigrants draining social services and generally causing chaos all over Springfield. Reports now show that people have had their pets abducted and eaten by people who shouldn't be in this country. Where is our border czar? How dare he actually talk about reports? Oh, my God. Apparently, so now speech is a crime. And this is the worst crime of them all. This is the worst crime of them all. Can you believe how we can let this man, I apologize for shocking your eyes. I should have had a label on this, NSFW, not safe for work, what we're sharing here on this stream here. You got a MAGA kitty there with a scope rifle, and Trump's surrounded by wildlife that he's trying to safely evacuate from the Haitians. And I'm going to tell you something else. The lunacy that's happening here, okay? I had someone call me on X a racist because I put on they referred to my racist thumbnail where there was a picture that I had last week of Trump running away from the Haitians while holding a pair of kittens. An obviously AI generated racist thumbnail because I'm a terrible racist. And that's ultimately what this is all about. The world that this guy wants to live in here, this karmic justice dude from the Chandra law firm, this karmic justice individual, this clown who doesn't even understand what menacing is and thinks that menacing means telling people that someone else is about to eat your pets. This clown wants to silence anyone who speaks up against the likes of that wannabe tyrant Kamala Harris and those of her ilk. That's what this jackass wants. He doesn't want American values here, where there's actually proudly embracing freedom of speech. No. This jackass here, he wants anyone who's disagreeing with the narrative that's being put forward by these crazy leftards as being something that should be punished and brought to heel. That's what he's about. That's ultimately what this is all about. The audacity of this guy thinking that he's in some sort of position of authority. And this is what we're basically seeing today, is that everyone's a wannabe prosecutor of like, I want to throw him in jail. I want to throw him in jail. Some of them claiming to be, special prosecutors. Even if they're not a real boy. They're not a real boy. They're not a real prosecutor, but claiming to be special prosecutors and bringing charges in D.C., bringing charges in the Southern District of Florida. Some judges want to call them out. Other judges happily doing their bidding. When you weaponize our justice system in this way. You are not the good guys. You are not standing up for justice. You're not some sort of karmic facilitator. You are a corrupt individual. There is something deeply disturbingly wrong with you. You should be mocked and derided as widely and as broadly as possible on a myriad of different issues, whether it's your incompetence, your corruption, or the overall smell that comes from everything that comes out of your mouth. There you go. That's my take. Do I think that this has theoretical viability? Because I said I'm going to cover like whether or not it could work. Does it have theoretical viability if he had some sort of leftist lunatic judge? I guess. Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think there's mens rea here. I don't think there's mens rea. I think there's freedom of speech. He talks about, screaming fire when you're a crowded movie theater, which is not a crime. I hate to tell him that. That's not a crime either. You might wish it is, but it ain't. You know why? Because we got freedom of speech. There you go. There you go. Now, with that being said, could some judge sign off? You can find a judge to sign off on everything. You find the right judge. Is anything going to happen with this? No. Nothing's going to happen. But I will certainly keep you apprised of any developments in this story, whether this guy gets laughed out, when he ultimately gets laughed out of court. But for now, it's an actual litigation. A litigation that is in the hands of some poor judge who's almost certainly shaking his head, wondering what the hell he did to deserve this landing on his lap. And there you go. What's the Shah? Threats from Pakistan, same place that incited protests in UK, their political Islam is proven. Are they really? I didn't know that. I did not know that. Thank you. Air Force One is now Noah's Park. I like it. I was told that someone shared with me let me see, Randall said he shared with me. There it is.
They're eating the cats. They're eating.
Let's see what we got from me here. Isn't that cute? So sweet.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. They're eating the dogs.
So there you go. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. All right. I think I covered it. I think I done did it. I'm going to be wrapping up. The plane is circling. In case you're wondering, the plane is circling. Time for us to bring it on home. Any final thoughts here? Did I cover every story? I think I did. We got her. We got the feds. We got the Haitians. We got everything. I think we covered everything. All right. That is our show. Two final messages for all you fine folks out there that you should just please make sure you keep in mind. Number one is, it's not rye bread. It's not sourdough. You don't sit there creating more and more. Meat doesn't reproduce, not in a healthy way, not when it's in meat form. Maybe pre-meat form, but not in meat form. So if some scientist in a lab coat comes up to you and says, try this new filet mignon I invented, you tell him to shove that filet mignon where the sun don't. And secondly, It don't matter. It's got ketchup on it. It could have hot sauce. They could throw cheese on it. Whatever it is they throw on it. Salt, nothing. No, if you're Indian, maybe like no. Whatever they put on it, do not eat the bugs. That's my show for tonight. I'm sticking to it. Have a good night, my friends, and as always, Godspeed.